The tactical display showed 17 confirmed kills in the last 43 minutes. Adam's squad had swept through the abandoned mining station on Kepler 442b with surgical precision, their powered exoskeletons compensating for the 1.6 grams gravity that would have crushed unaugmented humans within hours. Sector 9 clear, Adam reported. His voice modulated through the comm system. He glanced at the bio readouts on his HUD. Heart rate, 72 BPM. Oxygen saturation, 98%. Core temperature, 37.1 degrees Celsius. All nominal. The military-grade life support systems kept his body functioning at peak efficiency despite the hostile environment. The mining station had been overrun by Kresh raiders 3 standard weeks ago. The Kresh were a silicon-based species from the high-pressure depths of a gas giant moon, naturally armored and resistant to conventional weapons. But Adem's squad wasn't conventional. They carried plasma rifles calibrated to 4,000 Kelvin, hot enough to sublimate Kresh carapaces into constituent atoms. "Command, this is Strike Leader Adem," he transmitted. "Station pacification at 92%. Estimate complete clearance in..." The explosion cut him off. Not an explosion from weapons fire. Something had punched through the station's outer hull in Sector 12, bypassing the electromagnetic shielding entirely. Alarms shrieked across all frequencies as atmosphere began venting into the thin, toxic air of Kepler 442b. "All units, converge on Sector 12, Adem commanded, magnetic boots clanking against the deck plating as he sprinted through the corridor. His squad fell in behind him, weapons raised, scanners sweeping for threats. What they found defied explanation. A girl stood in the center of the breached section, surrounded by twisted metal and sparking conduits. She wore no exoskeleton, no environmental suit, no helmet, just standard-issue military fatigues and combat boots, both torn and scorched from atmospheric entry. She was human. "Identify yourself," Adem barked. Plasma rifle trained on her center mass. His scanner pinged frantically, trying to reconcile what it was detecting. The atmospheric pressure in the sector had equalized with the outside barely 0.4 atmospheres, with a toxic nitrogen-methane mix. The temperature had plummeted to -40 Celsius. The radiation exposure from Kepler 442b's binary stars was already above lethal thresholds. The girl Maya, according to the emergency transponder still functioning on her uniform, turned to face them. Her breathing was steady. No frostbite on exposed skin. No signs of hypoxia or decompression sickness. "Private Maya Chen, 3rd Deathworld Battalion," she said calmly, as if she were standing in a climate-controlled barracks instead of an environment that should have killed her 30 seconds ago. "Heard you boys needed backup." "That's impossible," Adam's second-in-command, Lieutenant Cross, muttered. "No human can survive these conditions unprotected. The hypoxia alone..." "I'm not no human," Maya interrupted, rolling her shoulders. Adem noticed the density of her muscle structure, the way she moved with casual grace in 1.6 grams. "I'm from Earth. We're all from Earth," Adem said slowly, keeping his weapon steady. "No." Maya's smile was predatory. "You're from the colonies. Ganymede, Europa, Mars. Places with 0.3 grams, artificial atmospheres, controlled environments." She took 3 steps forward, and Adem's squad instinctively backed up. "I'm from Earth. Actual Earth. 11.2 meters per second squared. 1 full atmosphere at sea level. Bacteria in every breath. Predators that evolved for 2 billion years to hunt and kill. Ultraviolet radiation without proper ozone protection. Gravity that compresses your spine every single day." She paused in front of Adem, meeting his eyes through his helmet's faceplate. "You wear that exoskeleton because you need it to survive. I wore gravity like this in my mother's womb." A Kresh raider chose that moment to burst through a maintenance hatch, its 4-meter frame towering over them, mandibles spread wide, bellowing a supersonic challenge that cracked Adem's audio filters. Maya moved. She didn't reach for a weapon. She simply accelerated, her legs launching her across the 15 meters, separating her from the Kresh in under a second. Her fist, driven by dense bone structure and muscle evolved under crushing gravity, struck the raider's thorax with kinetic force equivalent to a small vehicle collision. The Kresh's silicon-based exoskeleton shattered. It crashed backward into the bulkhead hard enough to dent the reinforced titanium alloy. Maya landed, barely breathing hard. "Sector 12, clear," she reported. Adem's jaw hung open inside his helmet. His scanners had clocked her acceleration at 8.7 grams. For 0.63 seconds. No exoskeleton. No mechanical assistance. Just biology. What are you?" Lieutenant Cross whispered. Maya picked up a fallen plasma rifle, checking its charge with practiced efficiency. Human. Original recipe. She looked at Adem. "You colonists have had artificial gravity, climate control, and filtered air for so long, you forgot what we evolved to handle. Earth isn't a paradise. It's a death world. Class 12 hazard rating. The only reason we survived was because we became tougher, faster, and more adaptable than anything that wanted to kill us." She chambered around in the plasma rifle. "The Galactic Council classified Earth as uninhabitable to intelligent life for 200 years, said nothing could possibly evolve sentience in those conditions. They were wrong. We didn't evolve despite Earth. We evolved because of it." 3 more Kresh burst through the walls simultaneously, having flanked the squad's position. Adem's team opened fire, plasma bolts filling the corridor with superheated light. But Maya was already moving, rifle singing, her body flowing through the 1.6 grams environment like water, her reaction time clocking at 38 milliseconds, fast enough to dodge aimed fire, fast enough to predict trajectories, fast enough to put 2 rounds into each Kresh's vulnerable neural cluster before they could close the distance. When the last raider fell, silence returned to Sector 12, except for the howl of thin wind through the hull breach. Adem lowered his weapon slowly. "Station pacification complete," he said into his comms, his voice subdued. "With assistance from reinforcements." Maya handed him back the plasma rifle. "You boys did good work here. You're well-trained, well-equipped. But you're fighting with technology." She tapped her temple. "We Deathworlders? We're the technology. 4 billion years of evolution in the galaxy's most hostile environment. We're what happens when a planet tries to kill a species for long enough that the species learns to kill back." She walked toward the hull breach, preparing to seal it with emergency foam, paused, looked back. "Welcome to the team, Adem. Try to keep up." As she worked, Adem pulled up her service record on his HUD. Maya Chen. Earth. Sea level. 23 years old. 67 confirmed combat drops. 0 casualties in her unit. The final note in her file made him exhale slowly. Operates without life support in Class 7 to 12 hazard zones. Standard procedure for Terran natives. For the first time in his career, Adem understood why the Kresh had surrendered 17 colonies without a fight once Earth joined the Galactic Coalition. They hadn't been fighting humans. They'd been fighting Deathworlders. And Deathworlders didn't need permission from physics to win.